Well, you see them lined up along the front straightaway, and what a beautiful sight as the SuperTruck Series by Craftsman is set to make its official debut. And I'm already in the hole for $3 here because I've been saying pace car. There's the Chevy Pace truck they've been using all throughout the Copper Classic today. So we each put in $1 to the Snell Foundation that does the helmet testing for each time we say car instead of truck today. So, folks, you can help keep score on us at home. Here's how they qualified for the inaugural event here. The pole sitter is again a surprise. Ron Hornaday Jr. and Dale Earnhardt's truck is on the pole. Kenny Schrader in the AC Delco Chevy outside. Terry Labonte inside row number 2, the DuPont Chevy. And the Performance Friction Hella Light Chevy for Johnny Benson Jr. is outside the second row. 5th fastest is Joe Bessie in the Taylor Toggs Dodge, and Roger Mears, the off-road champ, he is in the Budweiser Chevrolet. Row number 4 is Joe Ruttman in the Coke Ford pickup, and Rick Corelli, the Total Petroleum Chevron Chevrolet. Row number 5, the Exide Batteries Ford for Jeff Bodine, and road racing star Scott Lagacy from Florida, the DuPont Chevrolet. Row number 6, Mike Bliss, who already has a Copper Classic win here today in the Ultra Wheels Ford, and Sammy Swindell, World of Outlaws star in the Channel Lock Tools Ford. Row number 7 in the Spears Manufacturing Chevy is Bill Sedgwick from California, P.J. Jones in a new ride, the Sears Die Hard Chevy. Jack Sprague is a Chevrolet in the 8th row. Mike Skinner in the Richard Childress Chevy, Goodwrench truck. Butch Miller in the Ray Bestis Ford, and Gary Collins in the Carrera Shock Sunoco Chevy. Then it'll be Toby Butler inside of row 10, the Ortho Lawn Care Ford, and Bob Strait, the Target Expediting Ford F-150. Row number 11, road race star Tommy Archer, the Archer Motorsports Ford, and Kerry Teague in the KT Motorsports Chevrolet. Further back is Bob Keselowski in the Winnebago Dodge, and Troy Beebe in the Taco Bell Chevrolet. Row 13, Coach Jerry Glanville, Georgia, the Glanville Racing Ford, and Steve McEachran, Phoenix, the McEachran Racing Chevrolet. Row number 14, Jerry Churchill, the trucker from Detroit in a Ford, and Walker Evans, the Barbary Coast Dodge. Then it's T.J. Clark, he's in the American Racing Wheels ASE Ford, and Mike Hurlbert from Washington, the RPM Racing Ford. Next it'll be Butch Gilliland from Anaheim, California, the Ultra Custom Wheels Valvoline Ford, and John Nemechek, Joe's younger brother from Lakeland, Florida, the Redding Race Car Chevy. Finally, there's John Borneman, last car in the field. That is the Sophie Sportswear Company Chevrolet. Took a hard hit into the wall and got made into a really short bed Chevy yesterday. They've got it fixed, and he is in the field.
This is going to be one exciting race. You know, it's going to be exciting, first of all, because it's the first one, but the trucks really handle good. I was real surprised about what I was doing, you know, with the setups on the truck.
Here's Johnny Benson Jr. Ernie, we're going to ride along with him today, the Performance Friction Hella Lights Chevrolet. From the inside and from the right side doorpost, and over the tonneau and spoiler. Also, Rick Corelli, the Total Petroleum Chevrolet. We'll be riding along. There's the view inside. What Rick sees, big shade over that windshield, a lot of tape. Out the right side and back in toward Rick. The High Plains Drifter ready to go hard at work. And from we're going to call it the gun rack cam, folks, because that's where it is, okay? And a new TNN innovation. The folks from Boykin and Associates will be able to give you in-car, picture-in-picture. So now you can see out the front of Corelli's car, and also you'll be able to see out the back at the same time, and I don't think any network's been able to do that.
Wow. Are we getting tricked or what?
We're trying.
Well, the history is fixing to be made right now. Boy, I tell you what, every race I've watched these trucks run in has been better and better. This is the biggest field ever, and the start of the whole season.
Richard Childress in a familiar spot atop the number 3 pit. But today, instead of Dale Earnhardt being his ally, Earnhardt is his adversary. Look at T.J. Clark there, getting ready to roll. Big field of trucks.
You said a mouthful right there. The people you want to beat the most are the people you work with. You can always remember that. Nobody would love to have bragging rights more than Earnhardt saying, "I beat your truck, Mr. Childress."
In today's field, Chevrolets, Fords, and Dodges. Here's how they stack up of the trucks that will start. 17 Chevys, 13 Fords, and 3 Mopars. Well, the Chevy Pace truck is about to lead them out of turn 4, and we're ready to go green. And the SuperTruck Series by Craftsman is about to get its first official lap of competition in front of a packed house here at Phoenix International Raceway. Who will lead the first lap? We're green, and it is Hornaday with a jump.
Hornaday got a nice jump there. You see the Iceman on the inside. Terry Labonte has moved into second.
And they're hauling the mail off turn 2.
Well, folks, you're seeing history made right now. It's the start of a new series, the first points race, and we have it right here on TNN.
2 years ago, they said this couldn't be done. Even Bill France was a skeptic when 4 off-road truck owners came to him and said, we want asphalt pickup truck racing, and it's going to be big. They made a believer out of Bill France and the folks at NASCAR, and folks that think they'll make a believer out of you. Johnny Benson, Joe Bessie says hello.
That old Dodge must have really took off that corner.
Yeah, that's one of those red Rams, isn't
it? He's using the horns on that Ram.
Yeah. They're still side by side for 4th place. That's Bessie, number 30 in red. Johnny Benson, number 18.
Yep.
Right behind him.
Johnny Benson got a good drive off the corner there. Got ahead. But I tell you what, the Benson truck, I think, probably shows up.
Oh, trouble turn 1 in the wall. Rick Corelli.
Uh-oh.
The car came down to the bottom of turn number 1, and then, as if he had a flat right front, just went straight up and in. One truck spins to avoid contact at turn 2. There's Corelli's truck limping along.
Ooh, heavy damage.
Trouble on the right front. Rick Corelli is okay. We'll bring that truck along to pit road for repairs. 3 laps in the books. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Phoenix. You're looking at a dejected Rick Corelli as they have a look at the right front suspension on his truck, and the field is going to go green without him. Let's check with Glenn.
And he does look a lot as the field takes the green. They came back in here to check everything over. He did take a pretty hard look. I'm going to try to get a word with Joe Gironi, the crew chief, and see exactly what the problem is. We'll report back.
Mike, after lap 5, Ron Hornaday's leading Terry Labonte in second. Ken Schraber's running third. Johnny Benson's in third, and Joe Bessie's in fourth.
And they're side by side for 6 just behind them. Joe Ruttman inside of Jeff Bodine. There's your front 5, and that 6th place battle is the one right there, side by side. Bodine and Ruttman. And P.J. Jones in the number 1, the diehard truck, way up high. And Mike Skinner.
Ernie, he's using your money.
That Ernie owns half that 84 truck, folks. But Joe Ruttman is in, and Mike Skinner just kind of woke up the rear bumper of that truck.
That's part of it. Racing's racing, and I'm pretty excited about being in the spot I'm in, and excited about Joe, doing a good job with our truck.
Look at P.J. Jones and Jeff Bodine go at it here.
Yeah, and that's the number 3 truck there, Mike Skinner. Everybody remembers this car or truck from the $1 down. Remembers this from the winter heat. He qualified way back in the field, but as you can see, he's on a steady march to the front. He had ignition trouble and coasted from the fourth turn into the start-finishing line and still run a 70. So he was right up in there. He probably had the fastest truck here, but he had ignition trouble.
He's been one of the faster trucks all weekend. They did some testing here, and obviously they got their act together.
6th place battle. Number 7, Bodine. Number 1, P.J. Jones. Number 3, Mike Skinner. Everything's single file in front of them, so we'll stay with this because this is a hot one.
Well, Mike, everybody wants to know if these guys really go at it in the Truck Series. You can see right here, it's just as good a racing as any you'll see. Oh, a little sideways for P.J. Jones coming up out of the corner there.
It looks like a little sideways for Jeff Bodine coming off for turn 4.
And Skinner gets underneath Bodine at turn 2.
The thing is nobody really knows a good setup for Phoenix with a truck because you don't really know what it's going to do during the race, and that's one of the things that we were fighting with all weekend.
Skinner takes the edge on Bodine. Jeff back to 8th. Mike Skinner settles in 7th. P.J. Jones is 6th. Let's show you earlier what happened to Rick Corelli.
Well, this is out of the camera on the right-hand side. Oh, I relate to that story there. I've done that many a time. He just got up. It looked like he had a flat tire and got up in the wall.
Troy Beebe makes a pit stop in the Taco Bell truck. Here are your leaders. Terry Labonte keeping very close tabs on Ron Hornaday. Hornaday the leader, Labonte looking. Ken Schrader in third. Johnny Benson is fourth. Welcome back to Phoenix. 13 laps complete. And you're watching the leaders. Ron Hornaday driving for Dale, and actually Teresa Earnhardt is listed as the truck owner.
Same as.
And there's Terry Labonte.
Oh, Terry.
Lights up the right rear.
I think it's more smoke, something else. You know, he's got a motor trouble or some other reason.
Ken Schrader right behind Labonte. Johnny Benson, top of your screen in fourth.
Joe Bessie in fifth, and the 3 truck is closed in now, trying to take over 5th position.
Big trouble, turn 4. Everything scatters.
Everybody continues on.
Gary Collins, the Mesa Marin Raceway truck, get out of shape there, and we are under caution for the second time at lap 15.
There was trucks everywhere coming off turn 4.
One nice thing about racing the pickup truck we saw yesterday back in the garage area, when you knock a bunch of fenders and hood off it, they can load it in the bed to drive it on out. Top of the screen. Have a look, see what happens up here.
Oh yeah, it looks like he got on the apron or something coming off turn 4.
See the tire smoke off of there. Every truck coming out of that corner runs into this haze right here. The visibility is down to nothing, so it's just chain reaction. Everybody either locks the brakes up or runs in the back of somebody. You can see a little contact coming off there. Everybody was very lucky that nobody went out in that wreck.
Gary Collins going around and bringing out the second caution of the day at turn number 4. Now, Troy Beebe's truck was behind the wall briefly and then back out. So we are under yellow as you look back from Rick Corelli's truck. Corelli did have a tire go flat right front going into turn 1. That caused the collision with the wall. And Glenn found out from his crew they've made repairs, and he is back out there running for this championship and chasing points. So 16 laps are complete as the pace truck hauls them around here. Let's see. Yes, looks like we'll go green in 1 lap. Here's Glenn.
Mike, you said that Troy Beebe's truck had been behind the wall. It is back again, and you've had a pretty exciting day, Troy.
Yeah, it started out, we ran hard in the Southwest Stewart Taco Bell car and didn't move too far forward, and then hopped in the Decure Motorsports Taco Bell truck, and throttle hung up there on the first couple laps, and had to spin the truck to keep from crashing it, and then we got some kind of oil leak, so it's going to be a little long day in the Super Truck race.
Well, he'll stick in there. He'll get back out if all possible. And while I've got it, Mike, I will update the fact that Rick Corelli's crew did report that he cut a right front tire down to cause that meeting with the wall down in turns 1 and 2. The problems they have are obviously some suspension damage on the right front, but their biggest concern is that it bent the rear end housing. You can't fix that.
Nope.
No, that thing will run sideways all day, and it'll be extremely hard on the tire wear, too.
A little bit of our newest innovation where we put an in-car picture in the picture. Show you a couple different views at once here as we get ready to go racing.
I noticed that they're having double file restarts, which we didn't really see a lot of that here lately, and it looks like a truck, you know, can come up on the inside to try to get a lap back.
We'll see if anybody can do that as we get ready to go back to green. And it is Ron Hornaday bringing them down the front straightaway. As we go back to green with Terry Labonte in second. Number 5, Kenny Schrader in third.
Skinner is the one that's looking really good. He's passed a lot of trucks, and he's on his way to the front. That thing really has a lot of horsepower coming off turn 2.
As you're speaking, there comes Skinner on the outside. He makes a pass on Joe Bessie and pulls right up on the back tailgate of the 18 truck of Johnny Benson.
Johnny Benson had never seen Phoenix, and he ran his first laps here at 30,000 feet. He had a NASCAR computer game on the airplane on a laptop computer and ran some laps before he got here.
I don't know if that helped him at all, but
well, he said he had fun.
Yeah, had fun. Kenny Schrader's really looking good in third. You know, he'll be one that'll save them tires, but he's got the Iceman in front of him, and obviously Terry Labonte will save those tires too.
Well, right now, Mike Skinner's trying to figure out just exactly what he's going to do with all the horsepower he has. I've seen him make 2 or 3 moves there trying to get by Johnny Benson. Johnny Benson's running a very smart race. As we speak, Terry Labonte is trying to make a move on Ron Hornaday.
Let's check with Glenn.
Well, guys, you reported seeing some smoke on Terry Labonte's Super Truck. I checked with crew chief Gary DeHart, and he says that they think it was just they had it too full of water. Water was overflowing, creating some smoke. Seems to have dissipated now. They're not too concerned about it.
Thanks, Glenn. Mike Skinner moves up past Johnny Benson into 4th.
Well, he moved up to 4th. What a great thing this truck division has turned into. Where would Mike Skinner ever get a chance to drive for Richard Childress in such a great ride? This is only going to help his chances of getting into Winston Cup later on.
There's no doubt about that. You know, this truck series is taking off, and it's giving a lot of other people other chances to drive really good vehicles.
It's going to jumpstart a few careers and perhaps restart some others for some drivers that have been out of the limelight for a few years. You're riding with Johnny Benson Jr., Busch Grand National Rookie of the Year. That's Joe Bessie just behind him. Front 4 have really tightened up. Bumper to bumper.
Terry Labonte's making a move coming off turn 4 there. He's
trouble in 4. The Ortho Lawn Care truck goes around. So does Bill Cedric.
Ooh, man, Walker Evans
missed everybody. How did he do it?
We have some damage to 3 trucks up there that I can see right now.
That's 23 T.J. Clark, the Automotive Service Excellence Ford. They did a neat thing at a local Target store here the other day. They brought in high school kids, teams of kids from trade high schools to do pit stop contests. Cerritos High School out of Tucson was the winner. Kind of a thing they'll do at different stops of the series around the country. And this 8 truck has had a tough week.
Tough week.
John Borneman out of Ramona, California, shortened up the bed the other day. Craig Hewardson and his team worked all night last night, right through till morning, to fix the back end of the truck. And it looks like they're going to have a long week ahead. And the lead change. Well, the satellite fans get to see it. Hi, satellite fans. Yes. Yes.
Good fight here.
Big battle on the restart. They ran side by side for a lap. Hornaday got the lead. Here is Skinner inside of Terry Labonte for 2nd.
Well, the war is fixing to start. If that 3 truck gets up behind Earnhardt's truck there, the number 6 of Ron Hornaday, the battle gets on.
Yes.
Bragging rights in their own shop when they get back.
Here comes Schrader inside Labonte for 3rd. Labonte into DuPont number 5. That's Schrader. In the 52. And right with him, Johnny Benson and Joe Bessie in red.
I would say Joe Bessie's having a great time right now. This is as good as I've seen him run in a couple of years, and he's running side by side right now for 5th place.
Remember when he almost won that Busch race in Atlanta?
Oh yeah, he's a tremendous driver. You see him making the moves there, coming out of the corner. That red ram will go.
4 Chevys and a Dodge in the front 5. For the lead, here comes Skinner.
Skinner's really made a beeline to the front. It's really his truck is just awesome today.
Well, Skinner's got a lot of straightaway speed, but Ron Hornaday, he's a tough competitor. This will not be just the only pass we see in this race, I guarantee you.
Mike Skinner to the lead. We asked Ron Hornaday if his owner Dale Earnhardt gave him any advice for the running of today's race.
No, he did not. He just said make sure we bring it back in one piece and win the race. You know, I made a mistake by calling him boss once, and he put all of us on equal ground, and there's nobody over anybody. So he's going to be a great owner. You know, Teresa owning the truck and Dale owning the whole teams. It's going to be a great running for him.
Hornaday runs second right now. Skinner's checking out.
Boy, I was just fixing to say, I made that comment they were going to race so hard, but Skinner's got about a 12-14 truck length lead right now.
You said truck length. I like that.
Truck laps.
Truck length. Ron Hornaday in the number 16 in second. Kenny Schrader in third. Terry Labonte fourth. Johnny Benson fifth. Joe Bessie is sixth. Scott Lagasse, the road racer, is seventh. And coming up to eighth is Mike Bliss.
See Terry Labonte moving on the outside of Schrader there. I think Schrader may be having a little bit of a handling problem getting out of the corner. You watch this 5 truck now going down the back straightaway. He's got a lot of straightaway speed. He's on the outside of Schrader getting in the corner. They're side by side. We'll find out who's got the power now.
Lap truck McEachern down to the inside. Gives plenty of room as Schrader and Labonte come by 2 abreast, and Labonte will take the spot.
Whoa, he's still smoking that right rear. I tell you, I don't know.
So is Benson.
Benson, I think what they're doing is getting down in that corner so hard that it's actually smoking that right rear when they pick the throttle up.
You know, I find that hard to believe. I really think that's the problem that Terry Labonte had earlier. And they said it was just a little bit of leakage from water, and I still think that it's the same thing.
Look at the hood on Schrader's truck there. It's bouncing all around. What a great shot. You think you just sit there and ride through the corner. Look at him work that steering wheel trying to keep control of that truck.
Best seat in the house.
Kenny really looks like he's driving a truck, too. I mean, you know.
Yes. He's a pickup man.
He's a pickup man.
You got it. Mike Skinner's pulling a disappearing act on the field here as they battle for second and third, fourth and fifth side by side.
Here goes Johnny Benson pulling up beside of Schrader. He can't quite get enough. You see Schrader close in, getting in the corner. Benson's about a half a truck length lead now coming out of the corner. Schrader's on the bottom side. Looks like they touched just a little bit.
Right.
Those 2 trucks are equal.
Right behind them, side by side, here comes Lagasse on the outside of Joe Bessie. And that's Mike Bliss. The Ultra Wheels truck right behind them.
He's already won in one race today. He's on a beeline to the front, trying to win another truck race.
Won the USAC Silver Crown event earlier. The third of our 5 features today at the Copper Road Classic. The one thing you can't see from this is just how hard and how fast these guys are running. This looks like the interstate here. You know, as you sit there and watch that truck, oh, he's just driving along. The heck he is.
I tell you, it's just like watching a Winston Cup race. These trucks are running really fast, and you know, qualifying was only about 3/4 of a second slower than the Winston Cup car.
Second place, Terry Labonte, DuPont number 5. Ron Hornaday drops to third. Let's check with Glenn.
Mike, I rechecked with Gary DeHart, the crew chief for Terry Labonte. Now he tells me they're concerned that may be rear end grease, rear end spoke. Also, Toby Butler just came in. He had to. The window net came loose, was flopping outside the truck. While it was in, they decided to change the right side tires also, but they got the window net back up, got his 2 tires changed, sent him back out.
Steve McEachern on pit road now as you watch Terry Labonte. And where is our leader? I think he's in Tucson. He's that far in front of the field right now. There's a look at Mike Skinner. And way back there's the rest of the field. 41 laps complete. We'll be right back. 46 laps complete in the inaugural SuperTruck Series by Craftsman Race in NASCAR. 46 laps down. There is your leader, Mike Skinner. He has nobody in his mirror. Let's go to his pit. Here's Glenn.
Well, you're looking at Richard Childress, who, of course, owns the truck, and he's used to seeing his cars run out front, but, man, he's blistering the field.
Yeah, we had a problem in qualifying. Our ignition went out, and the truck's been running good, so we're just trying to keep Mike settled down right now.
He looks pretty settled. What we want to know, were there any special feelings when he was racing Earnhardt's truck there?
No, to me, it's just another truck. That's the way we are at Winston Cup. Every car, we just race them all.
I like that, just another truck.
Let's go back to the battle at 8th place. Scott Lagasse, veteran road racer, SCCA Sport Renault champ at the start of his career. And getting underneath him is Joe Ruttman. Lagasse's crew chief is Billy Nasowitz, who was crew chief for all of Richie Evans' modified championships. So Billy's got a little bit of mischief in him because Lagasse's a road racer, used to more turning right than left. They drove through a construction zone the other night. Billy was going to grab a no right turn sign and use it for Scott's pit board.
Yeah. We're still figuring out what we're going to do with Joe. Joe's doing a really good job today with Lagasse, and this truck deal is just real exciting, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Here's Joe Ruttman in the Mark Simo Ernie Irvin truck, the Coke machine.
Ernie just kicked me when he started buying there. I think he's getting a little excited. He said just a second ago, it's time for Joe to pick it up just a little bit, and it looks like he listened to you a little bit.
I tell you, that Robert Yates motor sure ran really good down the back straightaway there, and hopefully he can get towards the front.
Mike Bliss just ahead of them, battling. That's Mike Bliss on the outside, and Jim Smith's Ultra Wheels Ford. Joe Bessie in the number 30 Dodge. Taylor Togg's entry. Boy, that Dodge got that interesting snout on it where the hood curves in. Very aerodynamic, big truck look to it.
I'm impressed. This is the first time this truck's been on the racetrack, and he's running super well. A call for Joe Bessie and the Dodge.
Had a report earlier, one truck had lost its tailgate. What do we do in that situation? We've never had that before. EIRI.
Right.
All the rules apply except in rare instances. I guess this is one. 51 laps.
That sure is a good battle right there. Everybody seems to be having a good run. Benson's truck is really running good. You can really have a good view of the back of all those trucks.
Well, Johnny Benson's running in 4th place right now. You see Joe Bessie really closing in well, getting in the corner there. So he's got a very good handling truck. And down the straightaway, it looked like Johnny Benson might have just a little more down the straightaway. But watch going in the corner here. He gains about 10 or 12 truck lengths getting in the corner.
A little bit of rear end smoke on Benson's truck as well, especially at turn 2, more so than at turn 4. Kurt Rory goes the machine.
Whoa.
There it is.
If I was Benson, I would not look in the mirror. I would just keep my concentration on the front part of that truck, because I tell you what, it's awful looking in the mirror and pick up smoke off your own particular truck.
He must have about the same kind of problem that Terry Labonte does.
Yes, there's Johnny Benson.
Yeah, that's Johnny Benson. That's his office right there, folks.
At work. Mike Skinner is the leader. Terry Labonte second. Ron Hornaday now third. Kenny Schrader is fourth, and Johnny Benson is fifth. We'll be right back to Phoenix. Well, it doesn't get a lot closer to this. Turn 3, Joe Bessie and Johnny Benson go at it. And right behind him, Joe Ruttman's trying to move up with Mike Bliss chewing away at his tailgate, loosening him up a bit.
Wow, I tell you what, that's about as far sideways as you want to go. He was looking out the right door window just then, coming off the corner. Joe Bessie driving his heart out here. Whoa, a little loose there. You can see him making an adjustment on the steering coming out. Mike Bliss has moved up under him there.
Scott Lagasse's right with him. There's Bessie in 30.
The yellow's out.
And we have caution.
Don't see any reason for the caution, but obviously there would be something.
Some things are merciful.
I've had a caution like that before that I really didn't want, and we seem to have it.
And you've had a few that you were glad to see.
Right. Most of the time, you're glad to see them.
We'll get the reason for the caution when we come back. 59 laps are complete. Mike Skinner has the big lead. And again, let's have another look at some of the similarities and differences between the super trucks and the street trucks. NASCAR says the air dam on the race car must clear the ground by 3.5 inches. This one's about old beer can height. It has to clear whatever you're going to run over.
As you can see on the regular truck, you can look under here, and you can see all of me almost, 7 inches of clearance. And on the Super Truck, you can barely see my hand under here, 4.5 inches.
This street truck rolls out of the dealership for about $25,000. For a race truck, your wallet better be about 4 times as thick. To get any closer to the action at Daytona, you'll need a pit crew. NASCAR World, 6 acres of technology and exhibits right across the street from Daytona International Speedway, February 15th through the 19th. Come see TNN and NASCAR World. The caution is out for debris on the back straightaway at lap 60 with 20 laps to go here. Now, some of the drivers came in, some stayed out.
That's what I was going to ask Ernie. With 20 laps to go, what do you think was the right decision? If you had a chassis problem, of course, I think stopping is the right thing to do and take on new tires and all, but 20 laps to go?
I tell you, if I had a stopwatch, I'd probably have a better idea of what that would be a good deal, because I don't really know how much the trucks have actually slowed down. If they've slowed down quite a bit, then it's going to be a good move to actually come in and pit.
Well, let's find out. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, as you said, most of the guys came in. Mike Skinner came in for right side tires and fuel, as did B.J. Jones and a chassis adjustment. Hornaday came in, got right side tires and fuel, and made a chassis adjustment. His truck was awfully loose. But Terry Labonte, now leading the race, did not come in. He decided to stay out. We're down in his pit. We'll ask Gary Dehart, his crew chief, just exactly. He's in conference right now with the truck owner, Rick Hendricks. We'll see if we can get a word with Gary here. Gary, why did you guys decide to risk it?
Well, there's not enough laps left, and if you got back there and got hung up in traffic, some of that lap stuff, you can't get to the front on 2 tires. You ain't gonna run that much faster anyway. So we just stayed out. We was running good.
A little bit of Winston Cup strategy there. Also, these guys aren't running for a series championship. They're not worried about points. They don't have anything to lose.
Thanks, Glenn. Labonte stayed out. So did Kenny Schrader, Joe Bessie, Scott Lagasse, Jeff Bodine. And we're ready to go green. 20 to go, or rather 17 laps to go.
Well, we're going to see whether that crapshoot everybody just made was going to pay off or not, because the 3 truck of Mike Skinner was only in 7th spot on the restart there. So he's got a good chance. If he got any kind of advantage to getting on new tires and filling up the fuel, he'll be right back up front, I think.
And he was only 1 area code ahead of the field at the time of the caution.
I tell you, when Jeff Bodine come in the last time he pitted, he didn't really run all that much better. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going on.
Battle is for 6th place. Bodine on the outside in black and blue. Mike Skinner on the inside, number 3.
Well, right there, he's getting under Lagasse coming up out of the corner to take over that spot. See Jeff Bodine just behind him. Wow, that 3 truck is flying down the straightaway.
It goes down the straightaway for sure.
Scott Lagasse on the outside, number 24, the DuPont truck. Jeff Bodine, the X-side, number 7. And P.J. Jones, we saw at the top of the show, in 7th place in the diehard number 1. Let's go to Mike Skinner's pit.
Well, let's get another opinion about that. Terry Labonte did not pit, Richard. You guys got 2 tires. They don't think that Mike can catch Terry on just 2 tires. What do you think?
Well, it's going to be tough. This racetrack with that many laps, but, we had to make the call. We made it. We had to pay for it if we made the wrong one.
That's what I like about him. Professional. They will stand by their decision. The reason they had to make the call, they were the lead truck. They didn't know what anybody else was going to do. It was up to them to start it.
And as we speak, there goes Mike Skinner in the 3rd place by Joe Bessie.
Right past the Dodge. Up to 3rd. 13 laps to go.
That's Johnny Benson Jr. making a move there.
Gets on the inside of Bob Strait, and that's Ron Hornaday in number 16 pulling down on Benson. They're all top 10 trucks there as the laps wind down. Most of this series will be on tracks shorter than the mile in Phoenix. They'll also run a couple of road courses, and you'll see 10 of the 20 races right here on TNN Live.
What's really neat is a lot of these guys will take their trucks to Sears Point, the actual truck they ran right here at Phoenix. And that's one of the good things about this division. The trucks were prepared, and they could go road course racing or short track racing.
Johnny Benson. Right behind him, Ron Hornaday.
We have a fight for second here. That's Kenny Schrader on the outside. Mike Skinner making a move on the inside. If Kenny can hold him up.
Trouble in turn 2. One truck around, and everybody scatters.
Whoa, we have some more spinning just in front of there.
Bill Sedgwick. We have 3 trucks involved. 37, Bob Strait. With 11 laps to go, 29, Keselowski. And Bill Sedgwick were the 3 trucks involved.
Mike, all the strategies out the window now. Sitting in second place right now is Mike Skinner on better tires, full of fuel. Terry Labonte, he made a choice a while ago, but I think it might get him.
Well, now they've heated up those new tires and run them 10 laps. We'll see how much better they are. Let's show you what happened here at turn 2.
You see the truck getting loose there.
That's Bob Strait.
Got loose right in front of my truck.
Yeah. Mike Bliss got underneath that trouble there. A lot of them got by this wreck and started spinning on up the racetrack here.
Strait magically avoided contact with anybody. But Bill Sedgwick went around, and so did Keselowski.
Did you notice that wasn't Joe Ruttman got by? It was my truck. It's a difference when your dollar bills go by a wreck.
If he'd been in the wreck, it would have been Joe Ruttman.
I should have been saying the Coca-Cola truck. Yeah.
You could say that every once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay. 9 laps to go. Rick Corelli back on pit road.
Corelli's just had a tough day today. You know, it's a shame because he was really one of the faster trucks in practice. But he'll definitely be back. I mean, that's the thing. That team's a good team, and he'll be racing in the full truck series.
So the pace truck leads them around again. They'll come around and get 8 to go. Here's a look at Terry Labonte up on the point in the DuPont Chevy. Mike Skinner, the Goodwrench Chevy, number 3. Johnny Benson in 18. Joe Bessie, the Dodge, number 30. Scott Lagasse in 24. There's the diehard number 1 of P.J. Jones. And Roger Mears, number 25, the Budweiser Chevy. A good run here. This truck series is new, but it already has its own magazine. SuperTruck Racing Magazine is the officially licensed publication of the SuperTruck by Craftsman series. You can get a year's worth, 6 issues for $12.95. Call 714-572-2255 for details. Look at the running order here with 8 laps to go. Well, the Winston Cup drivers didn't come in here and dominate. I'm not sure anybody thought they would, but there was that possibility. Give Jack Sprague a call. And Bruce Griffin's truck, I think he was number 31. They are looking for a sponsor for that ride. Run the whole series.
Boy, you wonder what's going through Terry Labonte's mind right now, because he is such a cool customer under fire that right now he's figuring, what do I have to do?
There's Sammy Swindell, World of Outlaws champ. And the Bob Sutton, Brad Aikens Channel Lock, number 38. Had a couple of decent runs at Tucson. As we get ready to go green. Labonte, Skinner, Schrader. And Bessie, Lagasse, Bodine, P.J. Jones. 1 to go. Who do you think?
Well, I have to go back to what happened just a little while ago on worn tires. The 3 truck of Mike Skinner had quite a dominance. It was like he was in another race from the rest of them. Terry Labonte is a good closer though, so I wouldn't take anybody right now. It's up to who wants it the most.
Ernie, who do you think?
Well, it's, you know, Mike Skinner's truck really ran awful good before they pitted, and it sure looked like it's running awful good after. I really think Skinner's probably gonna pull it off.
Glenn?
I have to echo that, Mike. I'm down in Richard Childress's pits now. They got pretty smug looks on their face, but I watched Mike Skinner go by Ken Schrader under green there. He just simply drove under him, drove away from him. I think now that he's up on Labonte's bumper, it won't take him long to get back to the front.
A fellow from Kansas named Jim Roper won the first NASCAR, what they now call Grand National race, and they'll remember for a long time whoever wins this one, the first Super Truck race. We'll find out who it is in Going to be 6 laps when they come by. Labonte on the button, brings him around.
Boy, he didn't waste any time getting up to speed, but he didn't pull anything on Skinner. Skinner sitting right behind him. Schrader, the first 3 trucks broke away just a little bit.
Long gap back to Joe Bessie in 4th and Scott Lagasse 5th, Jeff Bodine in 6th. 3 Chevys to slug it out for the win. Labonte, Skinner, and Schrader. Jeff Bodine, bold pass on the inside, takes a spot away from Lagasse. And here comes Skinner. He has Labonte in his gun.
Here we go. We got an accident off of turn 4.
Oh, Lagasse goes around with P.J. Jones. Kerry Teague up in the fence. Lagasse spun it and got going again. Jerry Glanville spun up there as well.
I'm not real sure who actually got together, but 2 of them got together.
You see these trucks racing back to the green here. This is under Winston Cup rules. They have to race back to the flag. So here they come off turn 4.
And this race may end under caution.
Skinner. As they take the yellow flag. Caution is out at lap 76. Now, the rules for this series do provide that the race ends under green, white, checker. So even if we exceed 80 laps, we'll go green, white, checker. We're going to check and get a ruling on whether or not Skinner was eligible to race back to the flag. He was not. So he has taken his position back in 2nd place behind Terry Labonte.
Mike, they'll get to restart this thing. There's nobody up against the wall. There's nothing on the racetrack. They'll restart.
What happened?
This is PJ, right under Scott Lagasse. He just gets in the left rear quarter there, and around they go.
Boy, look at Roger Mears in the Bud truck getting by. Gary Collins gets by. And Lagasse will spin it and go. That's Kerry Teague up in the fence. Jerry Glanville spinning the black truck. Lagasse got out of there.
That was a wise move because there's lots of trucks coming.
And a narrow part of the racetrack.
Mike, just to let you know what happened to PJ there, he was making a move under Lagasse. Lagasse was very low on the racetrack, and PJ got just on the apron just a little bit and washed out into Lagasse and got into the quarter panel. When he did, it turned them both around.
TNN's cameras have been following P.J. Jones this weekend for TNN's new weekly series win. He'll be one of the first drivers profiled. Had a nice visit with his dad, of course, former Indy winner Parnelli Jones. The other evening, at the Craftsman function. That's one apple didn't fall very far from the tree.
You're right about that. What a great racing family. What a tradition. Anytime you hear anything Jones, you know that's a racing family.
Yep, Paige Jones continuing his convalescence and recovery out there in Los Angeles. Want to say hi to Paige.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we really want to say hi to them. It's tremendous how Paige is coming back.
Well, they're coming down for it all right here. The green flag will fly.
Green, white, checker. Labonte trying to hold Mike Skinner, Kenny Schrader, Joe Bessie, Jeff Bodine, and Mike Bliss. Jack Sprague has moved up to 6th. Boy, Skinner is locked on to the rear bumper like Labonte had a trailer hitch.
Right now, Terry Labonte has to check every place that 3 truck might make a pass on the bottom. Skinner's down on the apron, coming up side by side through turn 3.
Here he goes.
They don't touch. Labonte gave him room. Not a lot of room.
But he got on the outside, and that outside lane really seems to keep running. I still think he's going to hold off for a while.
Mike side by side, down in turn 1, coming up out of turn 2.
Boy, Labonte is right there. He is not going to let this one get away.
I tell you, I'm sure Terry's going to drive on into turn 3 awful deep.
This is it. Skinner ekes out an advantage. Will Labonte cross and dive under? He'll try it. Single file off the corner. Labonte can't get there. Mike Skinner will go to victory lane.
Wow, Mike Skinner done everything but a left turn coming off that corner. Wow, was that truck loose.
Labonte threw everything he had at Skinner. Mike Skinner takes Richard Childress's truck. Will Lind, the crew chief, told me this morning he didn't know if the truck would even run. They had that problem in qualifying with the ignition. And when they went to time the motor, they had a problem. put a whole new ignition in it for qualifying, didn't work that well, and there was no practice yesterday. So Will Lynn said he didn't even know if he knew it would fire up, but he didn't know if it would make any power. Boy, did it.
Let's look as they come off turn 4. You can see Mike Skinner coming out of the corner. Watch him get sideways here. I'm telling you, that's some great driving by both parties. There is no loser. There was second place. Terry Labonte did everything he could.
You don't come much closer to losing it than right there. And that's what it took to win it all. We'll be right back. High fives all around in victory lane as the first line in the record book will show the name of Mike Skinner as the inaugural SuperTruck by Craftsman Series winner, down amidst Richard Childress, and the winning driver is Glenn Jarrett.
And the old history maker being congratulated by everyone, owner Richard Childress, and we'll get a word with him. Mike, I got to ask you, it looked like on the last lap coming off the corner that the payload got a little light in the rear end there.
Yeah, the payload got real light there for a minute, I'll tell you. Anybody besides Terry Labonte, I'd have really had second thoughts about racing like that. Terry's a real smooth racer, and I'll tell you, he gave me just enough room. He didn't give me any extra, but it worked out. The GM Goodwrench service truck really toted the mail today. I was really proud of it.
Well, it didn't look like that things were going to go your way. You had trouble qualifying. You didn't get any practice after that. Really kind of shot in the dark as to what the thing would do.
Well, we rolled off the trailer really fast. The truck was real good, and we had a lot of problems, just one problem after another. And, you know, things didn't go real smooth there for a couple of days. And yesterday when we went to qualify the truck, it got right here at the flag stand and just quit. And we had a coil wire give up on us, a little ignition problem. And I'll tell you, Terry Elledge and Robert Scott and all them boys, all the crew just worked their tail off. I don't think anybody slept a wink last night. Everybody just so worried about what we're going to do to fix this truck. And those boys did a heck of a job. They fixed the truck, and she never missed a beat today.
This guy right here did a heck of a job also. He put it on the money when he had to. Congratulations to Mike Skinner, Richard Childress, and all the guys with the number 3 truck. What a great race.
Somebody had to win the first one, and Mike Skinner is the man. Terry Labonte finishes second. Kenny Schrader comes home well-deserved third, and give Joe Bessie a nod with the Dodge in fourth. And Jeff Bodine puts all 3 makes in the top 5 with his Ford. Jack Sprague finishes up 6th, edging P.J. Jones. Butch Miller out of Vermilion, Ohio, finishes up in the 8th spot with a car they changed the whole front suspension on this morning. He didn't know what it would do, and he got rewarded with a top 10 finish. Johnny Benson winds up in 9th. And pole sitter Ron Hornaday rounds out the top 10. We'll have lots more from Phoenix when we come back to the Copper World Classic after this. Big celebration ongoing in Victory Lane. 5 different drivers today have tasted gold, or rather copper, in the Copper World Classic. Mike Skinner joins Ron Hornaday, Mike Bliss, Davey Hamilton, and Danny Drynan as today's winners. Drynan in the midgets, Davey Hamilton the super modifieds, Mike Bliss in the USAC Silver Crown open wheel cars, Ron Hornaday the Featherlight Southwest Tour winner, and there is Mike Skinner being interviewed for the crowd here, the winner of the inaugural NASCAR SuperTruck by Craftsman Series event. And Jarrett's going to round up another interview or two for us before we leave Phoenix here. How big is this series? Has a chance to get? Look at the full-size truck sales in the United States for 1994 calendar year, courtesy Automotive News. 646,000 new Ford F-150s, 580,000 Chevrolet CK series trucks, and full-size Dodge trucks, 232,000. 2 trucks lead the all-time sales leaders. In fact, the Ford Taurus sold only 400,000 units last year, so trucks are far and away the biggest sellers. In fact, light trucks, including vans and pickups and sport utilities, provided 40% of the new vehicle sales in this country in 1994. That's a lot of new fans for NASCAR racing.
Mike, you can't live in my neighborhood if you don't have a pickup. They won't sell you a house.
I think you're right. Let's meet the 4th place finisher today. Here's Glenn.
Thanks, Mike. If I'm out of breath or if I sound like it, it's because I am. I think we need a younger pit reporter. Joe Bessie, you managed to dodge most of the stuff out there today. You had a good run in that truck.
Yeah, we did. My hat's off to this whole team. My hat's off to Dodge. I'm a GM person at heart, but they really, for having as little experience as they've got with the 9-to-1 motor, the team is totally inexperienced. And the lackeys, Greer and Howard, put a great piece under me. They didn't cut no cost getting here. They wanted to come. They wanted to run up front, and We almost ran up front.
Well, you did for most of the day, and what amazed me was watching you, how close to perfect the truck was, even though this deal only came together, 10 days, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's been a short notice type deal. Matter of fact, it got so close that at one point the people that own the truck said, I think we better just pass on Phoenix and get ready for the road course, and so we can have our act together. But guys worked all night. They did a great job. I can't say enough. We qualified 5th and finished 4th and just ran good all day and had a lot of fun racing up front with some of those Winston Cup drivers. You just can do nothing but learn.
Well, he learned a lot today. He had a good finish. We'll look for Joe Bessie again when the Truck Series continues.
Joe Bessie finishes in the top 5, puts the Dodge up there. Has been a long time since the Dodge was in the top 5 in a major NASCAR race. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. We're wrapping things up here, and Jeff Bodine had a pretty good run. It must have been awfully good because Tanya Tucker herself came over to congratulate him. What'd you think about the trucks?
I'm excited. If people knew what we went through to get here, the crew, they did a great job building the truck. Never tested it, came here, got very little practice, so to finish 5th, we're really happy. And of course, we wanted to win for Tanya. She even had a checkered flag with her. But we're glad she's here.
Well, this is my first NASCAR SuperTruck Series race, so I'm very excited. And Jeff did a great job today, and so of course our salsa truck with Exide, and it's been great, really great.
Well, it was fun. It was fun to watch. I've certainly enjoyed being a part of it. Mike?
Nice job by Dave Resende. He's a crew chief on that effort for Jeff Bodine as well. Ernie, buddy, what'd you think?
I think it was real exciting. You know, this was my first time in the booth, and I was real excited.
Well, I think TNN has found a diamond myself. I really enjoy the trucks. I don't know of any division that started out with the power that this thing has, and it's only going to get better.
The momentum can only build. TNN, the network that brings you more Busch Grand National racing than anybody else, and all of the networks combined. We're going to do the same for the trucks. We'll have half the Super Truck Series right here on TNN. Our focus now changes to straight line racing. At 7 p.m., thunder in the distance with all the preseason NHRA news. And then at 7:30 tonight, Eastern Time, the kickoff of the NHRA season. The Chief Winter Nationals final rounds live right here on the Nashville Network. Well, we're all headed for the beach, Daytona Beach. And then it's off to Rockingham with Busch and Winston Cup racing live, as the Super Truck Series has had a great kickoff along with the Southwest Tour, the Midgets, Super Modifieds, and USAC Silver Crown Cars. For Ernie Irvin, Glenn Jarrett, and Buddy Baker, I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Ron Hornaday and Mike Skinner. Today is NASCAR winners at the Copper World Classic. So long for Phoenix, where it's 80 degrees, everybody.